Kelly was born on May 18, 1978, and grew up in a loving and supportive family in Hattersley, Greater Manchester, England. Her parents, Margaret and Tommy Bates, described her as a cheerful, kind, and independent child. She attended local schools and was known for being bright and sociable. Her teachers and peers found her friendly and approachable. Kelly was outgoing and fun-loving. She enjoyed spending time with her friends and had a close-knit group of people who cared about her. Her family and friends noted that she was a typical teenager, full of life and dreams for the future. Kelly was an active child, engaging in various activities that allowed her to channel her energy and creativity. She had a creative side, showing interest in art and writing, which she enjoyed both at school and at home. Kelly had a nurturing personality and was known to look out for younger children or those who needed support. Kelly had a strong relationship with her parents and siblings. Her mother, Margaret, particularly described Kelly as her best friend, and the two often spent time together. Kelly was open with her family about her life, dreams, and challenges. She valued their guidance and was deeply loved in return. Kelly had ambitions typical of a teenager. She dreamt of building a bright future, considering various career paths, and exploring what life had to offer. Kelly's life changed when she met James Patterson Smith at age 14. He was 32 years her senior. Initially, she likely saw him as a mentor or a mature figure, offering attention and care. Smith used his experience and charm to groom her. He showered her with attention, compliments, and gifts, making her feel valued and special. From the outset, Smith insisted on keeping their relationship a secret, especially from Kelly's family and friends. This secrecy is a hallmark of grooming, as it isolates the victim and gives the abuser more control. Over time, Smith became increasingly controlling. He dictated who Kelly could see, where she could go, and even how she dressed. He systematically cut her off from her friends and family, isolating her from her support network. When Kelly turned 16, she left her family home and moved in with Smith, believing they had a future together. From the start, Kelly's parents were wary of her relationship with Smith. They were uncomfortable with the large age gap and felt something was off about him. Margaret and Tommy tried to convince Kelly to leave Smith. They voiced their concerns openly, but Kelly, likely under Smith's coercive control, dismissed their warnings. Despite their best efforts, Smith's manipulation made it difficult for Kelly to see the danger she was in. Once Kelly was living with him, Smith's true nature emerged. She subjected her to escalating physical and psychological abuse. This included frequent beatings. He would physically assault Kelly, causing visible injuries. Deprivation. Smith would withhold food and water, further weakening Kelly. Control over communication. Kelly's contact with the outside world, including her family, was severely restricted. Kelly began showing signs of distress. She withdrew from her loved ones and became more reserved, but Smith's control made it difficult for her to ask for help. The abuse escalated to unimaginable levels. In the weeks leading up to her death, Kelly endured prolonged torture. Evidence later revealed that Smith had inflicted more than 150 separate injuries on her. She was burned, stabbed, and beaten over time. He would submerge her in water, cut her, and even partially blinded her. Kelly's injuries worsened, but Smith continued to isolate her, preventing her from seeking medical help or reaching out to her family. On April 16, 1996, Smith drowned Kelly in the bathtub, ending her life. When Kelly's body was discovered, the level of violence shocked even seasoned investigators and medical professionals. The post-mortem revealed a history of sustained and brutal abuse. In the subsequent trial, Smith was found guilty of murder. His defense tried to claim that Kelly's death was accidental, but the overwhelming evidence of prolonged torture led to a life sentence. The news of Kelly's murder was utterly devastating for her family. They struggled to comprehend the extent of the abuse Kelly had endured in the final months of her life. The brutality of the crime left them heartbroken and deeply traumatized. During the trial, Kelly's family had to endure hearing graphic details about the torture she suffered. Margaret and Tommy bravely attended the proceedings, hoping for justice. Smith was ultimately convicted and sentenced to life in prison, but the loss of Kelly was a wound that could never fully heal. In the years following Kelly's death, her family worked to raise awareness about domestic violence and coercive control. They spoke publicly about the importance of recognizing the warning signs of abuse and intervening early. Kelly's story is a devastating example of how manipulation and abuse can escalate when red flags go unrecognized or are difficult to act upon. Her case has since been used to raise awareness about the dangers of domestic violence, coercive control, and the importance of recognizing and intervening in abusive relationships early.